hello and welcome to Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy.
I'm Hirsty.
At last, the 2015 range of Harley Davidsons have been released, and guess who they got to ride them?
Us.
Yeah, but of course it's going to be us, Greg. Who else is going to be? There'd be no fun if someone else was riding it. Also coming up, you went on the pink ribbon ride.
I did. Lots of men in pink. It was very impressive.
It's just another weekend in Hirsty's life. Temporary Australian starts here.
Also coming up, we check out the Macquarie Pass south of Wollongong and the famous Robertson Pie Shop. Dutchy fills us in on the riders of Tasmania. We check out Shep's dirt drag bikes. Chancy talks about riding fast and praying hard. We look at the High Court Challenge in Queensland, and Darwin HOG takes us for a ride. Mitch, a lot of great rides I hear down this part of the world.
Oh, magic area to ride in. You know, plenty of twists and turns, hills, coastline rides. Favourite ride, probably Macquarie Pass. It was built by convicts and opened in 1889. So, you know, up a mountain pass like that, a lot of really tight hairpins. It's a reasonably dangerous road, but if you show it a bit of respect, you'll be fine.
Now, Elsie, tell us about the ride we're going on today.
We're just down at Fraser's at Wollongong, obviously, at the moment. We're going to head back out on the Southern Expressway, back through Albion Park to the bottom of the pass, and then we're just going to wind up through the pass up to Robertson Pie Shop. Some good tight, windy corners, and good riding up through there.
Is that a popular ride for locals here?
It is, mate. There's a lot of people just get out and go with a group of friends. You don't have to be in a club or anything. You just jump out there and go up. It only takes half a day up and back, so it's not a big ride, but yeah, very good. It's got a bit of everything, you know.
What do you think of riding the Macquarie Pass?
Ah, great. It's got curves and swerves, and you really get a good feel of the mountain. The only thing is it's only 60 k's, so it makes it a bit difficult to stay slow, you know. Otherwise, I'd take off a lot quicker.
I love just getting into those curves and just getting that sway happening, and just getting into the rhythm. Awesome.
Too bad there's just cars on there. They tend to slow us up. And we sometimes do things that we're not supposed to do legally to get around them.
What do you think of the ride?
I thought it was really well organised. Bit slow up the pass though, probably the slowest we've ever gone up there, I'd say, but yeah, no, it was very good.
So what is it about the pie shop, mate?
The pies.
I enjoyed it. The scenery was great, the ride was great. Yeah, everyone stuck together really well.
In the summer it'd be a nice ride going up there, you know, in the summer months.
I thought people down this part of the world are used to the cold.
No, not me, mate. I'm from Campbelltown. I'm not used to this. And I'm pommy.
Have you done it very often?
Quite often. We're at a clubhouse up here, so we go up and down quite often. We take it easy down there on wet days, but sunny days it's quite nice, enjoyable and good views.
That was my very, very first time, and I found it quite enjoyable and a bit challenging, so but it won't be my last.
What is it about the Macquarie Pass, mate, that's so good for riders?
It's got a bit of everything, you know. You've got windy corners and, you go up there. Everyone just likes to lean their bike over. It's no good just riding straight down the highway.
It's very popular, this neck of the woods, from what I hear.
It is, mate, but very popular, but you've got to be very careful on there too, you know, like with bikes coming the other way, chopping the corners and that sort of thing. So you've got to ride up there within yourself as well. You know, you just can't go to bull as a gate.
What is it about bikers and their pies?
Well, mate, have a look. Goes hand in hand. Bikers and beer, bikers and pies, yeah, it's all good, isn't it? Especially on a cold winter's day.
You do a lot of road racing?
I do a little bit of road racing. I've been racing now for the last 3 years. I've been riding bikes since 1978. And it's only in my last few years that I've really got involved in it.
What attracted you to road racing?
I've always liked racing bikes, riding fast, and I've been involved in a Christian motorcycle scene for quite a while, and I've hung around with a lot of guys that were more tourers than anything else, and now that I've had over 50 motorbikes, I've wanted to give sports riding a go, and I've come across the CSBA, which encourages riding on a track fast. So I took that up, and it just evolved and moved into motorcycle racing. My racing number now is registered as 316, which is all about John 316. And a lot of people ask me what's 316 about. So then I'm able to tell them, look, I'm a born-again Christian, and you know, I'm riding for God, and so, you know, I don't get bagged out too much because of that. In fact, you know, I think people really honour it. In the motorcycling sport, there's not a lot of Christians that actually ride motorcycles on the track. There's not many that race, so, you know, it is new to them. And to see someone down to earth, someone that's relaxed, that's able to, you know, joke around with them and then get out on the track as well and mix it up a bit, they admire it.
Tell us about the event that your club runs.
Yep, we've got Westdale Rock, or Rock to Westdale. It's been going for about 7-8 years now. We have dirt drags, we have burnout competitions, we have demolition derbies, and then we have a band on afterwards, and overnight camping, and yeah, kick on, party out.
The road drags talk about how everyone gets on so well. Do you find that the competition in dirt drags is the same, that it enables clubs to mix and to race and to develop a sense of camaraderie, I guess?
Oh, definitely. I'm no bike mechanic by any means. I work in the construction industry, and my methanol bike, that's pretty temperamental. If I need help, usually it's the guys that I'm racing against that come and help me out. I originally bought the Sportster here. It was for the very first Westdale show. There was a member from each 4 of the original clubs in Western Australia working on that bike together, trying to get it down the track so we could put a show on for everyone.
And tell us about the 2 bikes you've got. You're racing the Sportster class and Top Fuel.
Yeah, well, these days I'm just sort of more into the Top Fuel. I started out in the Sportsters. It's great for budget class, you know, you can just go get a road bike, get a grinder, chop the arse end off it, stretch it a bit, and start playing around with it.
So what difference in speeds would there be between the 2 classes?
Well, the methanol bike, I've had that up to 103 mile an hour. Still had more to go in it. On the Sporty, you're running probably around 73, 78 mile an hour.
When you're doing that sort of speed, how do you stop it at the end of the track?
Well, most people have brakes. I don't have brakes on either of my bikes. They're just there for looks. But you can gear down, and a lot of the tracks now, the runoff's very important. Your runoff should be twice the length of the track. So track's 200 metres, so your runoff should at least be 400. And a few of the tracks, they're sort of graded, so the runoff's uphill. You just sort of slow down naturally. If you don't, hope for the best. A few people go through a couple of fences and into sheds, but that's part of racing.
Well, what attracts you to it, mate? Obviously you love it.
After the first pass, it's, I don't know, just grabs you. You just can't get away from it. Once you're hooked forever.
With the local hog group, do you have to travel fair distances to go to other hog groups?
The next 2 closest chapters for us are Mount Isa and Alice Springs, so 1,500 k's away. We have a tri-chapter challenge on the Queen's birthday weekend every year, which coincides with the Think weekend. So it gives the Alice hoggies a chance to get out of town while they're invaded by dirt bike riders and buggy people. But there's a roadhouse 780 kilometres down the road from here called Renner Springs Desert Inn, and the 3 chapters for that Queen's birthday weekend, we all get together. It's a day's ride for all 3 chapters, and we ride down on the Saturday, have bar games and fellowship on the Saturday night. Sunday we have a bit of a gymkhana. Sunday night, the chapter with the most points gets the tri-chapter trophy. Monday morning we all just pack up and head our own separate ways back to town. So yeah, 700 kilometres for a weekend. A lot of people scratch their heads and say, why do you do it? But we're actually the envy of a lot of chapters down south, that we're actually probably 3 of the tightest chapters because of that reason, that we will make a bit of an effort to catch up with people. We had one of our best attendances at the National Rally. We had 32 from Darwin chapter made it across for the rally, which out of a chapter of 100 members is pretty darn good to have the attendance that we had there.
Well, you guys would have to travel long distances for those sorts of rallies, wouldn't you, for the 110th down in Melbourne?
The 110th in Melbourne, the 100th in Sydney. The furthest one we had was 2009, the National Rally in Launceston. And it's normally when they have the longest travelled competitions at the hog rallies there, it's normally fighting between Darwin and Perth that have to do the longer legs, you know.
So a lot of motorcycle-friendly campsites around, you know, that not only give you a nice, safe environment to camp in, but also give you a club to take care of the crocodiles at night?
Well, we stay in the club at the bar, that's right. I would like to say we're really quite biker-friendly, and being a tourist destination, Darwin as well, pretty much all visitors are fairly well looked after and made to feel welcome here.
Like a little baby, the new Harley Davidson range has come out for 2015. I'm a cynic, right?
Yep.
Excite me. What's happening? What's the new?
Great news. We've got some great colour ranges this year with Harley in the 2015 range. We've got the reintroduction of the Road Glide Special back into the country, which is pretty special, I must say.
And Harleys are going well because there's some new competition on the market now. How's Harley standing up?
Going great guns. I mean, it's always healthy to have a bit of competition, keep us on our toes.
Well, I paid to see me as a diving act. I want to seize me a diving act. So, can we go for a ride? What have we got today?
So, today we're going to head out west a little bit. Jonesy, you're going to be on a Road King.
Yep.
Unless it rains, of course, then Hirsty will probably want it because it's got the screen on it.
Of course.
And then we've got a lowrider, the 15 model year lowrider. And we've got a street bob as well.
Feels different in the front end. Why is that?
Well, the new Project Rushmore bikes have got a bigger, fatter front end on them, 49mm forks. So that just gives a lot more stability on the road.
It just feels so much more stable.
Yeah, and it's got air-assisted rear shocks as well, so you can pump up the rear shocks and get it handling to your weight.
For my weight? What are you saying? And what about this rain? Can you fix the rain?
We can try to fix the rain for you, but you shouldn't complain. You've got a nice screen in front of you.
Well, that was great. Thanks for that. I loved it. I love that Road King.
It's nice to ride, isn't it?
But you're right about the front end, and the seat is great.
When we re-engineered the whole, what we call Project Rushmore platform, you know, beefier front end, beefier rear shocks, it just gave an overall better ride, better comfort of ride as well. So the new contoured seats on them, it makes a big difference to out on the road how the vehicle handles.
It contoured into my bum perfectly, Adam. Maybe that's something we could work on in the future.
Well, we might
the Jonesy seat.
Maybe we could use your posterior for future seat design.
Like Kim Kardashian. Is anyone writing this down?
You could have your own range.
You know, I notice you're not writing this down. You should be. Adam, thank you.
Thanks, Jonesy.
We're about 30 k's out of Hobart at a beautiful country town called Richmond. It's also a gathering spot for the Riders of Tasmania. But tell us about Riders of Tasmania, how to start.
Okay, Riders of Tasmania started about 6 years ago. We rode with another group. They basically said that because we didn't ride with their brand of motorcycle, they no longer wanted us to ride with them. So I decided to form a sort of a multi-group for all types, learners, any type of motorcycle. So I started up the ROT, which is Riders of Tasmania. It started with 5 of us, the first 5, and it's grown to around 250 people now. We don't have membership, you don't have to pay dues or anything like that. There's no president or secretary or treasurer or road sergeant. It's just a group of mates that get together once a month and go for a ride, and we also have a social sip on the second Friday of the month as well.
For the people in that group, their focus is motorcycling and the social side of it. So as the president of the Tasmania Motorcycle Council, I've spoken to Dutchy about the political side. They're happy enough with the job that the executive of the TMC is doing in representing them. And if we do or say something they don't like, I'm sure he'll let us know. But yeah, it's a great riding club.
Thank you everyone for coming on our third ROT Memorial Coles Bay ride.
In the 6 years of riding, we've lost 3 riders. Basically, none of them died on a ride with us. They've all died in separate incidences. But we take today to remember them all. We know that many of them, that all 3 of them used to love riding to Coles Bay. In fact, Phil Haynes was tragically killed. He had a heart attack while riding his motorcycle, and he was on his way to Coles Bay. So today we're finishing that run for him. We don't have lead riders or anything like that. Everybody runs at their own pace. I'll do the briefing, I'll send people off. The fast boys will go first, followed by the secondary riders who are a little bit slower, and then the learners and the slower riders will go last. And I usually stick with that group and try and sort of mother them a bit and look after them for the ride.
A bit like a parent, isn't it? When you run an event like this, you want to make sure everyone gets there safely and enjoys themselves.
Yeah, look, it's something that I take very much to heart. I expect everybody to ride with a fair amount of common sense and consideration for others. And I will not hesitate in telling someone that's being an idiot to go away and don't come back. And I've done that on a number of occasions. And as far as I'm concerned, there are no heroes on the road. There are only riders. And if you want to be a hero, then go and get a race licence and do as Casey Stoner and Mick Doohan have done. That's the place to race.
Towards the end of last year, the Queensland government passed a raft of laws which have been called the anti-bikie laws. In the past several months, these laws have caused a lot of injustices. A lot of Queenslanders have realised that these laws, far from targeting members of motorcycle clubs, are targeting everybody in Queensland.
We were worried when we got some quotes of how much this was going to cost to fight. It was going to be quite expensive. We didn't have that much money, but luckily, or unluckily, these laws have thrown the net over such a wide variety of people and in the general public. We've got a lot of the general public supporting us and putting in money. We're not only getting money from motorcycle clubs, but from mums and dads, families who know this is going to affect them sooner or later, and their children. And that's one of my biggest fears, that if these laws stay, what sort of world my kids are going to grow up in. So I think all these families are seeing it and throwing money in.
We're raising money today to try and help out because the High Court's not a cheap place to go, and we are prepared, and the motorcycle clubs are prepared to take it to the High Court to just show how unjust and uncivilised and draconian these laws really are, mate.
Predominantly our concern has been the effect that the laws are having on broader motorcycling. We've also said that governments and police forces in dealing with crime, that there's sufficient law exists within the Crimes Act and various other statutes to fight criminal activity. So we don't believe there's any need for these sorts of laws.
Governments are always answerable in the end to the people, and I think that's the ultimate test. Governments will and do have the capacity to make laws as long as they're constitutional.
Once a year at the start of Motorcycle Awareness Week, a whole bunch of people get together and dress in pink. And the reason they do it is to draw attention to breast cancer awareness and to raise money and to go on a ride. Seems like men these days like dressing up in pink. What do you put that down to?
Well, I think this is their one day every year they can do it legitimately. And it's so good that they get into the spirit of all of this. It's all raising money for a great cause, and they just love being amongst it all.
Where will the money go?
Our money specifically goes to Westmead Breast Cancer Institute. They obviously don't get enough from government funding, and so our money buys specific equipment every year.
Chips, King's Cross Bikers have been supporting the Pink Ribbon Ride for a long time?
From day one. I think 2001 was the very first one, and from there it's just become a tradition, something we'll keep on doing forever.
Pretty impressed with your turnout today, mate. Give us an idea of what you're trying to achieve with it.
Okay, well, Star Wars Boob Wars. So I've got the Pink Stormtrooper, R2 Boob 2, and on the front I've got Booba Fett.
Well, this is your normal street clothes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the shade. It's getting a little bit hot here, mate.
It sure is, but it's a great day, another great day for us today. It's good to see very good, kind-hearted people coming here.
What is the fascination with pink?
Breast cancer.
Makes me look really more attractive and younger.
It's an awesome feeling to get dressed up for such a good cause.
Hey, let's go for it, guys. More money, more research, cure.
And this is Bikers Australia, the pink chapter. Why do you guys like pink?
I don't really, but for a good cause, so why not?
Now, you're not worried about the embarrassment factor?
Nah, not at all.
So you been getting any cheek from your mates?
No, none at all. They're all wearing pink today too.
This is one of the real events in Sydney that all the motorcycle-related clubs and businesses and everything can all come together.
I did get a lot of comments from the men, how they were just happy to be here to support the women, and particularly support the women who are struggling with this issue.
Oh yes, because it touches every one of us knows someone who's got breast cancer. And the fact that we can raise all this money in one day, at least 50,000, and that we can give it to Westmead Breast Cancer Institute, and specifically for certain items that the government wouldn't give them enough money for. So we really make a big difference to that place.
You know, I like you in pink. I think that's a good look for you.
Mate, you weren't there, so I had to try it on. But
Sure.
It's available if you want it.
You had to try it on.
I did.
Being the operative word. You know, it takes years off you. It looks good.
Thanks, mate.
Maybe you should continue to do that. We'll catch you next week on Temporary Australians. Go to our website for more deets, temporaryaustralians.com.au. Until next week.
See ya.
Shiny side up.